Today we're going to do a video on the Edison Standard phonograph. I've got this Edison Model A here to demonstrate for you all how to adjust the mandrel here so that when you open the endgate, it doesn't do that. It doesn't drop down to where you have to pick it up in order to close it whenever you're putting a record on or taking a record off. See, I had to lift up on it there. And then when I go to open it again, it's going to drop down. Very annoying. So, in order to make the adjustment, we have to go to this end of the machine where there is a gear cover held on by a couple of stove bolt head screws. And we'll take it off and lay it aside. And there is a drive gear here, which drives the feed screw gearing. And this clearance right here between the shoulder of the gear and this boss on the bed plate casting is what determines how much this is going to drop, because it determines the amount of shake there when the gate is open. Oops. As you can see, it's very annoying when it's not adjusted correctly. So what I'm going to do is loosen this set screw. As you can see, I've staged this video so it's loose. And we're going to adjust this to where it touches and then back it off just a little bit, because we don't want it to rub up against the casting while the machine is playing. And if you need something a little bit more precise than just pressing it against there and then backing it off, what I have found works great is to take a piece of ordinary 22-pound printer paper, and we'll tear a piece off here. And then I'm going to take it and fold it over and make a gauge strip. And what I have found is taking and folding it over twice like that makes a handy little gauge strip to place in there. So we'll put that in there like this and then press the gear up against it tight. Now with it there like that, we can tighten the set screw down. Oop, it's a little tricky to do one-handed. My paper gauge still in place? Nope. Anyway, I think you get the idea. Use that as a gauge so that it's not touching. You don't want it to touch the casting. It'll slow the machine down. And then check it by making sure you've got a little bit of end shake there. But what you're going to find then is that you can open and close the end gate without the mandrel dropping down enough to not go back into the cone bearing in the end gate there. So that's it. That's how you make the adjustment. And then after you're done, replace the gear cover and secure it with the 2 screws. So with that done, let's listen to a record. And make sure this screw is snug enough here. It's not going to come loose. I got a screwdriver with a little bit bigger tip. That fits better. Okay. Alright. We'll listen to a record now. This video deserves a record. That was pretty short. So let's listen to this is a pretty good little song. I Remember You, Ada Jones, on a Columbia 2-minute Indestructible. trick is getting these out one-handed too. And it's even in a Columbia indestructible box. How about that? Okay. Put our witch hat horn on there. This is a reproduction witch hat horn.
She went outside and wrote a little note, and then she fled. The waiter brought her note to him, and these few lines he read. I remember you. I remember you. Wasn't you the fella with the open umbrella that I met one rainy day upon the avenue? Oh, I remember you. Yes, indeed I do. Gee, I'm awful glad I met you, but till life I don't forget you. I remember you.
All right. That's always fun to hear a record, isn't it? Alright, there you go. So there's no excuse now to have to use both hands to open and close your endgate anymore. Once you adjust it right, you'll be all set. Sometimes it's a little tricky to get it adjusted correctly. It's a good idea too to make sure that this is adjusted correctly, because you want the upper and lower pulleys to be true with each other, and it might involve loosening these screws here on the ends, the set screws and the tension screws, and shuffling the cone bearings back and forth to get the pulleys lined up and still have clearance here. And then once you have all that set up and you have the right running clearances on the main mandrel, then you adjust this last to get your end shake adjustment when the gates open, so that the mandrel doesn't fall down. See, that serves as a stop and prevents it from coming to the right far enough that it drops far enough that the needle point of the main shaft won't go back into the cone bearing. It's very important. Alright, but that's how you do it, so you have no excuse now. You know how it's done. So, thanks for watching, everybody.